All right, welcome everyone to the end of year Backstage community session. I'm Vincenzo, one of the engineers working on Backstage. And if this is your first time joining, this is where we hang out, talk about what's new, share what's happening around the Backstage ecosystem. And if you have a topic you would like to bring up in a future session, feel free to drop a comment under the GitHub issue for the next community session. Let me share the link in the chat. If I find the chat, here it is. Cool. I will make sure to give you the mic or cover anything you want to discuss. All right, today's agenda. So first, let's take a moment to celebrate what we have achieved in 2025. Then we will go through some release highlights for Backstage 136, which was published yesterday. And after that, we will spotlight two recently published RFCs, one about our roadmap and another one about modeling MCP servers in the catalog. And then Charles will walk us through some of Backstage UI updates. And at the end, we'll wrap up with a Q&A. If you have questions at any point, just drop them in the chat or use Zoom's Q&A tool. All right, let's kick things off. So as I said, this is the time of the year when we look back a bit and see what areas of the project have grown or changed over the past 12 months. And we have a quick repository heat map video that we would like to play. I hope the volume was okay. I'm guessing a bunch of you spotted your names there. So we pulled together some stats. So this year we merged more than 2,100 pull requests into main branch, and which were coming from 331 contributors. And that's just for the core Backstage framework. So thank you all so much for the time and energy we have put into the project, and we are really excited about what we will build together next year. Thank you. All right, then moving on, release highlights. Backstage 136 is out. I will hand things over to Freben to walk us through the details. Freben.
Yep. 146, yes. In previous releases, we modernized some stuff like the LDAP libraries and versions of Postgres that we support and so on. And the trend continues in this release. A couple of pretty big shifts have happened. For starters, we now support version 22 and 24 of Node in accordance with our versioning policy. That was a difficult word. Node 20 is no longer supported. We also updated the compilation targets accordingly to leverage the modern capabilities of the newer Node versions. Second, we have been holding back for some time now to give the Node ecosystem some time to mature, but we finally switched what's called the module resolution method to bundler instead of the old Node value. Along with that, we also switched the module setting to ES 2020. So if this seems unfamiliar to you, just know that the old node resolution method is going away entirely in future versions of TypeScript. So this is a trend that we should all get on. Third, the Backstage CLI has now detached itself from any specific version of the Jest testing framework. It used to be sort of hard-coded to Jest 29, but now it's free for you to choose. This makes it possible for you to upgrade to Jest 30 and the more modern DOM versions that come with it, which greatly helps, especially with modern UI tests and stuff like that. There is a step or two that you need to take to choose which Jest version that you want, though. So check the release note details to know what to do before you upgrade, or as you upgrade. Fourth, we also squashed one remaining React testing library version bump blocker. We changed the interface for the TechDocs add-on tester such that you now choose yourself how to make assertions on the outcome. If you happen to be developing TechDocs add-ons, this affects you, and you may be required to make some minor changes to how you do your tests. But don't worry, though, the changes are in such a direction that they better follow best practices anyway. And over to some more regular developments. Backstage UI keeps evolving. In this release, there's a small breaking change for some table cell use cases. No big deal, though. It's an easy fix. Support for Valkey as the cache provider was improved. It was there before, but it's better now. The config was made more crisp and purpose-made, and the cluster support should now be more proper. So thanks to Benji Jensen's for this one. For those of you who are considering doing new front-end system migrations, maybe all of you are, or are partway through them. In this release, we finished off what the previous release started. You can now safely use routes from old plugins in your new app without having to even think about the compatibility wrappers for them. So routes should just work, making the migration complexity much lower. Bitbucket Cloud are changing their auth methods since some time back, actually, and they're deprecating app password support. We've finally landed proper OAuth token support for Bitbucket Cloud, thanks to Jake Smith. The Actions registry, which can be leveraged from both MCP and elsewhere, has gained 2 new catalog register and unregister actions, thanks to Gabe Montero. And finally, there's also a new field extension for selecting an organization or owner where to place a particular repository. Currently only GitHub supported, but we would be happy for contributions that extend that to other providers. Also, thanks to Benji Jensen's again for that one. And that's it.
Cool. Any questions so far? Feel free to drop a message in the chat. I have one regarding Jest. So does it mean that adopters can stay on 29 if they prefer?
Yes,
or if it's easier for now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
It's mainly a matter of adding 2 dependencies to your root package JSON, and things will continue the way they did before. But be warned that Node 30 will be, Jest 30 will be recommended in the future. So you should prepare to make that migration sometime soon.
Okay, nice. Any questions so far? Cool. No question. All right. Then moving on. Thank you so much, Freben. See you around. Cool. Next topic is RFCs. So we want to spotlight 2 RFCs. One is about the roadmap, and another one is about modeling MCP servers in the catalog. So Ben, where do we start? Roadmap?
Oh, it's up to you. Pick one. Well, we can start.
Okay, I pick roadmap. It's
This is
first on the list.
Yeah, so I have been not contributing code that much in the last few weeks. I've been contributing RFCs, as you can probably see by the 2 pinned issues. One of them is for the roadmap. So I don't think we've actually really done kind of a collective roadmap kind of ideation thing before. But something I really want to try is to have an issue like this pretty much every year that's going to shape what the priorities are going to be for the project and where interest lies from contributors, really. So we can try and get contributors together to be working in the in common areas together. So this kind of RFC, like, it's very open for ideas of where we can improve the product, like from very high level of just like, you know, this project area, or maybe, you know, particular features or whatever. There's a little bit of a snippet there that you can copy and paste and fill in if you like. I was going to run some like LLM AI stuff on top of this every few weeks just to kind of get a running poll and update that to the top of the issue, but I've not done that yet. But yeah, please, if you have any form of input in here, if you want to contribute, if you want to also help out and contribute and you're interested in a particular area, maybe your organization is looking at something and also want to contribute something, please go and comment on this issue. with some ideas. Yeah, I'm also not sure when I'm going to close this yet, so it's not going to be soon. There's no solid date, but I'm guessing sometime in January when we've collected all the ideas up and come up with a proposal.
But the idea is to like have it running through Q1, I guess.
Yeah, I think we probably close it in January, maybe towards the end of January, once we've got enough feedback on that, and we can try to shape up some plan, some ideas with the right people in the right places for the rest of 2026. Yeah, like I said, we're not going to tackle all the things straight away because that would be inefficient, but I think it would be interesting to kind of put the right people in contact with the right other contributors alike that might want to contribute some things together. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's a trial, and we'll see what happens.
That's great. Switching over to the second one, then we can cover questions for both if there is anything. So this is about modeling MCP servers in the catalog, right?
Yes. So this is a more technical RFC, I guess. It's more in the weeds, so to speak. But this is, I've noticed a pattern or differentiating patterns across open source plugins of how they model MCP servers in the catalog. So there's a need to model these servers or something. We also do this slightly differently internally too. So I kind of just want to align here like the path that we want to take forward to model these things into the catalog. So that said, that then what that will allow us to do is that the ecosystem is using a common format so that plugins just work interoperably. Like you don't have to have two different formats modeling the same thing in the catalog because plugin X uses one way and plugin B uses a different way, right? So this is basically aligning how we can model MCP servers in the catalog. There's a few options on here. The one that I think we prefer the most is the one at the bottom, but this highlights basically three different approaches of like how we can model MCP servers in the catalog, and yeah, their associated metadata, right? So that's basically how we're going to get to that end state of being able to model these MCP servers along with additional information from like the MCP registry spec from Anthropic and yeah, all that associated data and how we catalog it and make it valid and like formatted and validated and strict. So yeah, there's also maybe room in the future to model more AI things, AI in the catalog. So that's kind of an open question at the end. That maybe we just start small and do this for now, but let's see what happens. But if you have any opinions, maybe you're doing this yourself internally, please go and drop a comment on there so we can align on a format moving forward.
Cool. What has been the sentiment from the community regarding the proposal?
Yeah, option 3 seems like a good shout at the minute.
Yep.
There's not too many comments on there at the minute, but we're looking for some more feedback from around the project. But yeah, I think we're heading down the right path. We want to add probably more properties, I guess you want to call it, spec properties to the actual entities themselves. So we've chosen to reuse like the API kind, and also if you'll notice like API kinds today, you have like type OpenAPI, type gRPC, and like the definition is just like a plain text string, which leads to like a lot of it's kind of hard to validate that data. So it can lead to like unexpected errors, especially when trying to read it out, right? It's just unvalidated strings. And what we want to do really is provide a little bit of type safety from the catalog that what you're getting back is actually, it's type checked, it's validated. But we also, we want to reuse this API can, but have the addition of additional properties in there. Like, so you see remotes at the bottom here, that's something from the Anthropic registry spec. But these additional properties in here that we want to take some more of them and put some more in the spec so that you can actually treat them as more as first class, but still reusing this API kind. We kind of feel that maybe kind of like a separate kind for this is maybe a lot of work when if we want to reuse kind of like a lot of the plugins that maybe work with APIs today. So maybe feeling like API is kind of the right kind to put it in, but maybe we want a bit more we want less flexibility than just a definition string input, I guess. we want to have it more restricted and like what validated that. So yeah, I think we're heading down the right path. Yeah, like I said, open for more feedback. Please go and leave a comment on that if you have any opinions or you're doing this yourself in some way or some form. Or if this is totally not going to align with what your ideas are, like please let us know.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions so far? Feel free to unmute yourself in case you have comments or in case you're already modeling MCP servers in your catalog. This is a good place where we can share feedback. Cool. Otherwise, we can move to the next topic. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Sorry.
Thank you.
See you around. Okay, nice. Okay, where is it? There is Peter. We are so far behind on the AI train. Okay, sorry for you, Peter. Hopefully you can join the train as well. Cool. All right. All right, final item for today, Backstage UI. Let me switch to the slides. Here it is.
Well, I can share my screen if you want.
Here it is. Yeah, Charles, I saw in the heatmap video that some of the explosion were definitely like related to all the new components being created this year. So over to you to share what the latest about Backstage UI.
Yes. Thank you, Vincenzo. Hi, everyone. Can I share my screen?
Just a sec. I think you should be able to.
Yes.
Can you?
Yes.
My God, nice.
All right. Do you
I see your screen. Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, so I'm going to give you an update on Backstage UI. So for everyone who don't know what Backstage UI is, we are building a new UI component library for Backstage to replace MUI, Material UI. And this has been in the work for close to 8 months already. And we are building a lot of it not from scratch. We are building this library on top of React ARIA. And we spent most of the past, I would say, 4 to 5 months to really stabilize the structure to make sure it works between MUI and BUI, or Material UI, Backstage UI. And the goal is really to make the transition as smooth as possible. We have a tracker in place to see how far we are. So we are not that far. We are only 2.2% migration between from MUI to BUI, but hopefully this can really help us to understand where we should pay our attention going forward. But most of the work is now done on preparing the grounds, and we really hope that in the next 3 to 6 months we should be able to migrate plugin after plugin inside of the monorepo. So we're going to start with the catalog. We are doing some polish on our table components. So the table components used to only work with certain type of pagination, and now we will have like cursor pagination, offset pagination, different kind of async loading, better loading effects, multi-select, virtualization, and all of this. So very, very excited about this. And yeah, so catalog will be the first plugin to be fully migrated, and hopefully we can help anyone migrate their own plugin to this. But this will become one of the main example to this. So yeah, this is something that we are doing, on like regularly, as much as we build a component, we test them, or we migrate. But we really encourage anybody in the community to help us do the migration and bring PR. The goal is not to reinvent the design, but really to just change at parity the components. So, taking buttons to the new buttons, box, typography, these kind of things. So yeah, any questions?
Benjamin has a question about if like a table supports server-side pagination.
If there was what on pagination, sorry?
If the table components support server-side pagination.
Yes. Yes, 100%. This is something that is, so the table is by default using React IO, and they have different ways to do this. So I believe with cursor and offset pagination, like this will be, fetching on the server. But yes, it should work for both clients and server.
Nice. And question from Peter, is there a guide on how to help migrate these things? I think adding some examples somewhere will help contributors make the changes.
Yes, for now, this is so like I'll be very happy to be in Discord to answer any questions on specific migration. We have a restore book on here to understand like how everything is working. We have a docs where you can see all the props and everything ready for these elements, but this is not like one-to-one mapping on this. We're gonna prepare, hopefully, if we have time in January, kind of a MUI to BUI mapping. So, typography is text in Backstage UI, and what props could be the best way to use in this category. So hopefully we should have this early next year. But if you have any questions, feel free to ping me on Discord, and I'll be happy to help.
Nice. And there is a question from Heikki. Is it a plan to support all components MUI provides, or is there a gap that needs to be filled with custom components?
I would say that's pretty much like more than 90% of the components will be like you will have an alternative in BUI, but they might be different. We explicitly built Backstage UI on top of React IO. So React IO is built by Adobe, and they have a very extensive list of components, that we can play with. And what we do is just really add our styling layer on top of it and theming layer on top of it. But hopefully you should have, everything you need on this. And if you don't, you can, hopefully use React IO on your own and build the components, just for us to take the time to build it in the future. So the migration will be easier.
Nice. And another one from David. Is there a demo page, screenshot, or mockups for what a finished default Backstage UI Backstage site might look like?
Yes, we're working on it. So if you see in our docs, we have we restructured the sidebar. So we have tokens, we have the list of components, but we have two new sections, one called recipes and one called guides. And we want to create guides and help plugin creators to build their own plugin with an opinion on how, if you want to create a data-driven dashboard, or if you want to create, a list of users or these kind of things, we can really help to guide you on some design pattern that works well on this. We're going to also not in Jan, but maybe February, March, probably work on a public version of a Figma library that you can use, so you can really prototype on this. And I don't want to promise too much, but we are also working with the Storybook team to create an MCP layer from our docs, from the Storybook that we have, to just play around with cursor and anything. Yeah, to use Backstage UI in your ID.
That's fantastic. Nice. All right. Any more questions for Charles? I love the storybook. It's like so good.
It's getting bigger, so we have
Yeah.
we have a lot of components, but we have more way to go. So if you have any requests, components that you don't have, feel free to raise an issue, contact us on Discord, and we'll see what we can do.
Cool. All right. I don't see any more question. All right. Thank you so much, Charles. See you around on GitHub. All right. I think we can move on to the key final Q&A section. So if there is any question that you want to cover regarding like any topic or any of the previous topic, feel free to unmute yourself or just drop the message in the chat. I'm gonna pause myself for a few seconds. I see there is one good question from Luke. We have seen some awesome demos recently of the Actions registry and MCP plugin working well together. We ask a lot of our teams to provide us with Swagger specs for APIs they want front-end for in or front-end in our Backstage instance, so we can generate clients SDKs for them to use. Is there any tool you are aware of or might be working on, similar to the specs backend router command in Backstage repo tools, that might help with auto-generating actions from API specs?
I can take this one. Let me just make sure I understood this. So I think that Aramis actually was talking recently around, or not recently, I think this is a while back. He was also trying to understand how they can make OpenAPI specs equivalent to like MCP tools. But I think that the idea was kind of quickly decided against because of how complex APIs can be and how finicky they can also be. Like it's from an MCP point of view as a tool, to an open API mapping didn't really translate very well. I'm not to say it doesn't work for everything, but this is just a bit of context around what I've heard before. The short answer to this is that I'm not aware of a tool that helps you with this, but I would be interested to see if there's actually something you actually want to do, or whether it would actually be more beneficial to work out like journeys or common paths that people make with these open API calls, rather than exposing everything as a MCP tool. I'm not sure if that helps. Maybe I just butchered that answer there. But yeah, just giving my own context of what I've heard before. Aramis is also probably pretty good to reach out to and ask him, see if he got anywhere with this. Thank you.
That was good. Thank you.
I would give you Rames's handle, but it's a very unique name, so I'm sure you'll find it in Discord somewhere.
He also has two handles, so. Cool. Any other question? All right. Then I think we can close the session here. Thank you so much for this year. Thank you so much for your time, for contributing to Backstage and to attending this session. I think the next one will be in January. So yeah, looking forward to hearing from you there, or on GitHub or Discord or wherever we can meet. Thank you, and happy holidays, and have a great evening.
Thank you all.
Bye.
See you. Happy
Bye.
holidays. Bye.